Welcome children. Today's worksheet number 18, metals and non-metals. In this worksheet we will discuss about displacement reaction. We have learned that some metals are very reactive like sodium, potassium, lithium, etc. And some metals are less reactive. Also, some metals do not react with anyone like gold. Now we will learn about reactivity of metals with the help of displacement reaction. For this, let's do an activity. In this activity, we have to take 500 ml beakers and label them A, B, C, D and E. Then about 50 ml water in each beaker. हर बीकर में आप कितना पानी लेंगे बच्चों? 50 ml water. Dissolve in each beaker a teaspoonful of each substance as given. Here the substance are given to you. In beaker A, you have to add copper sulfate and zinc granule. In beaker B, you have to add copper sulfate and iron nail. In beaker C, you have to add zinc sulfate and copper turnings. In beaker D, you have to add iron sulfate and copper turnings. In beaker E, you have to add zinc sulfate and iron nail. Then keep the beakers undisturbed for some time and record the observation after some time. You have to record your observation or notice your observation after some time. Now we will discuss observation. In beaker A, zinc displaces copper from copper sulfate. Zinc displaces copper from copper sulfate. Why? Zinc is more reactive than copper. That is why the blue color of copper sulfate disappear. Why the blue color of copper sulfate disappear? Blue color is of copper sulfate is disappear due to the formation of zinc sulfate, and powdery red mass of copper is deposited at the bottom of the beaker. जो कॉपर डिस्प्लेस हुआ था वो बीकर के नीचे या बॉटम में पाउडरी फॉर्म में बैठ जाता है. बीकर ए, word equation is given to you. Copper sulfate CuSO4, zinc Zn, it produces zinc sulfate ZnSO4 and copper is displaced. In beaker B, iron displaces copper from copper sulfate. Why iron displaces copper from copper sulfate? Because iron is more reactive than copper, so it displaces copper from copper sulfate solution. Word equation is given to you. Copper sulfate CuSO4 plus iron Fe, it produces ferrous sulfate. Ferrous means iron. Iron sulfate, it is called ferrous sulfate, FeSO4, and copper is displaced. We noticed that there is no reaction in beaker C, D and E. C, D और E में बच्चों कोई reaction, no reaction take place. कोई reaction नहीं होती. The rule here is that, what is the rule? Rule is more reactive metal can displace less reactive metal, but less reactive metal can't displace more reactive metal from the solution. So this is the rule. More reactive metal can displace the less reactive metal, but less reactive metal can't displace the more reactive metal from its solution. That is why there is no displacement reaction take place in beaker C, D and E. So we conclude, हम क्या conclude कर सकते हैं इससे? that more reactive metals displace less reactive metals from their compounds in aqueous solution. In these three metals, zinc, iron and copper, which one is most reactive? Zinc is most reactive and copper is least reactive. Now check yourself. First question is, what is the color of copper sulfate and copper? What is the color of copper sulfate? Copper sulfate का कलर कैसा था बच्चों? Blue. And what is the color of copper? Brown. Question number 2. Why copper can't displace zinc from its salt solution? Why copper can't displace? It means copper is less reactive than zinc. That is why it can't displace zinc from its salt solution. Copper is less reactive than zinc. So it can't displace zinc from its salt solution. Question number 3. Arrange zinc, iron and copper metals in decreasing order of their reactivity. So how will you arrange? You will arrange like this. Zinc is most reactive, Zn, then Fe, iron and then Cu, copper. Copper is least reactive, zinc is most reactive in these three metals. Question number 4. What happens when iron nail is placed in copper sulfate solution? So what happens when iron nail is placed in copper sulfate solution? When iron nail is placed in copper sulfate solution, iron is more reactive than copper, so iron displaces copper from copper sulfate solution and forms ferrous sulfate or iron sulfate. Due to the formation of ferrous sulfate, blue color of the copper sulfate turns into light green color of ferrous sulfate and copper is displaced. Next question. Question number 5. Complete the reaction. Zinc, Zn plus dash, it produces zinc sulfate, ZnSO4 and copper. So in this, to complete this reaction, you have to write here copper is displaced, so CuSO4 copper sulfate. You have to write here copper sulfate. Zinc is more reactive than copper, so zinc displaces copper and forms zinc sulfate and copper is removed or displaced. Thanks for watching.